Okay, this is the Ask Andy show. I've been to 16, I've traveled non-stop for over 16 years. I don't really have a home. I live in hotels, and I have gone to 90 plus countries. And continuing, I'll be in Vicabamba, Ecuador soon. Okay, Chris L., I think it's in California, wrote a very interesting question and made me think, and I like the ones that make me think, because I got to get in touch with my feelings. And the enjoyable thing about talking on the camera or writing a blog or journalizing, because the travel blog is like a journal if I write, is that I take abstract thoughts and I put them into concrete words, and I really understand at a deeper level what I'm doing. So you could talk to yourself too, right? Okay. Now the question, he says, after having met so many people in so many different cultures who have been able to, what have you been able to see is people's deepest concern? Okay, I'll say it again. After having met so many people in so many different cultures, what have you been able to see is people's deepest concerns? This is whether or what, or actually verbalize it. What can you see there and say about it? Okay, I think at the bottom concern, I mean, if you read, they got Maslow's hierarchy of need, where they show these different levels, seven different levels, and I actually think Maslow's hierarchy, I'm trying to rework it because I believe it's wrong. I think he's doing what we would hope they want, okay, like taking care of their family and you know, you would hope that people want to take care of their family before they buy a cell phone, but they don't. They buy a cell phone at the expense often of their family. They buy a motorcycle for sure at the expense of their family. But basic needs are defined differently. So most people believe different. But what is the number one concern? The deepest concern? I think the deepest concern is a person doesn't want to feel stupid. And so what this translates into is they don't try to get educated to not appear stupid. They try to buy something that would increase their social status. So that's why the cell phone or getting on Facebook, or it's kind of a laundry list of things that they can check off that they do that says, I'm smart. So if they go to university, if they go to high school, they get a GED. I mean, I don't believe that a person getting a GED is any smarter than a person that didn't graduate but then gets a GED afterwards. All it does is said, you had second guesses, so let's go try it. I think it's the same person. I don't really see it, but we don't want, we have all these labels, and we collect our labels so that we can basically regurgitate them out and tell people our labels, right? So I'm telling you, I've got 16 years of non-stop travel in 90 countries. That's my claim to fame. But it's also a way of proving I'm not stupid or I'm an expert, right? So I wrote a book saying I'm expert. But at the end of the day, what we want is to be accepted, and we want people to see us as a person that is clever. Now, I'm not going to say honest. I don't think people strive to be honest, but they strive to have their friends think they're a clever person. That's one reason why mockery and sarcasm is, to me, very high on the planet, because it's a way of saying I'm clever, and it's a very childish way of doing it, but they do it anyway. I think to be respected by your peers and to do is the biggest thing on the planet, and they want to have everybody. So you'll see people go to great lengths to hide anything that's dirty laundry, right? I mean, if you really want to get somebody angry in a country, you talk about their idiosyncrasies, like how they get up in the morning and they carry water. They don't want to talk about carrying water because that makes them look simple and poor. Now, the greatest benefit anybody could have is just to be proud to be who they are. That's what I like to see. And generally, you have a middle phrase. You have people from the very poor up to about 50% up the level percentile that really have pretty good self-esteem and just accept their lifestyle. Then you got the wannabes, which is really painful people, which always they're always trying to compare something or try to tell you they have this or demonstrate they have this. But at the end of the day, everybody's trying not to look stupid. And if you really weigh it, a lot of people's education doesn't make them enough money to really even pay for the education. Africa, they have everybody's educated in Africa, contrary to what everybody thinks. A lot of people go to, most people are going to high school and most people are going to think, but there are no jobs even for, so when they go to university, there is no job. Okay, so they're highly educated riding a motorcycle. But they can say they went to university, and that puts them in a higher bragging rights. A lot of the problem with travel, people travel so that they can come home and tell their people. So they have to go to a place that they can brag about. That's why Africa's really strange. You can't brag about Africa because nobody really cares. They look at you like, I have to go to the Caribbean or Europe. I mean, if I really wanted to brag about where I went, I have to go to England or Australia. Those are your #1 English bragging places to go to. That means when you go, oh yeah, because everybody that would listen to you would relate to those two countries. When you go to a country that they don't know, no bragging rights. So if I say Ghana, Togo, Benin, they don't know where it is, and all it does is it ruins the bragging because they don't even know what I'm talking about. So basically, they feel stupid. But everybody up and down the line is their biggest, deepest concern is to not look stupid among their friends. So one thing really nice when you're in some of the underdeveloped nations, developing nations, or the normal countries as I call them, because there's 200 of these countries and only 50 of the overdeveloped nations on the planet, is, okay, so when you go to these places, one of the great things is that when they're living on $10 to $15 a day, they have very simple houses, and they really have trouble really accelerating above their friends, and so they're not caught up in quite this competition for conspicuous consumption. Classic example of this is that if you see children in school, their fashions just are crazy. They're like the fashion show to see who can be the most swag, hip hop, whatever fashion, right? And it's very, very competitive, and it's very demeaning. And one thing great in a lot of the poorer countries is they all wear uniforms. While I really enjoy that because it makes everybody equal. But when you say everybody's equal, that sounds like, I don't know, communism or socialism. So the United States is graded on the curve. The wealthy do good, and somebody must do bad to make the wealthy appear rich. Okay, but that's the deepest concern, is status, social status, and but it's not really so much as social status as our deepest concern is they don't want to appear stupid or inadequate. Okay, Andy Graham, but Maslow's got some things totally wrong. Maslow's hierarchy of needs, totally wrong. They're screwed up. He's got an ideal what people should want if they're ideal people. That's not really talking about normal people.
We can